I think what one can say is that there is increased regulatory scrutiny on the part of the SEC and CFTC, which is a very positive development. And the SEC has already brought some cases. As to when additional cases will be brought and when a so-called crackdown will occur, I think that's speculative at the moment, but it will take place, I believe, in the coming month or two following now.
Okay, that's pretty soon. Paul, what's your expectation of what this is going to do of the price of particularly Bitcoin? Because every Lyft or Uber I get into, if they find out that I work for CNBC, they're asking me about Bitcoin. It's certainly become just a broad consumer, at least question. Should people have their money in this?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great point, and I think the speculative fever has taken over among many people. I just had a friend yesterday tell me that one of his assistants asked him if she and her husband should invest in Bitcoin and when he talked to her husband, he's in the military, and he was saying that so many people on his base, have bought Bitcoin, and they're millionaires, at least on paper, of course. But when you have that sort of thing going on where people are kind of blindly investing, and of course, my friend advised his assistant and her husband not to invest in it. It's a cause for concern where people are putting money in to things that they don't necessarily understand, and they're just doing it because everybody else is doing it.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. Hope you'll stay with us as we take you to the White House. I guess not quite yet. Harvey Pitt, my question might be, do you envision a global standard for these currencies, or maybe among a block of countries? How much can various countries agree on, some kind of regulatory framework?
I think there's a real likelihood first that the more responsible elements of the cryptocurrency community will themselves develop standards. I think Paul Atkins is working with some folks in that direction, which is a very positive effort. But I also believe that there will be a very positive effort made in the global community to come up with standards and discipline. And I think that there will be a real success in that effort once the countries start focusing on this.
Paul, initial coin offerings have been coming under fire lately. Good or bad?
Well, not every initial coin offering is cut of the same cloth, and so I think people have to be, have to scrutinize them very carefully. And Harvey just mentioned that, I'm part of a group called the Token Alliance, where we're trying to come up with some guidelines and best practices for people who are buyers of into these coin offerings, also issuers, and then to get government input as well. So we're hoping to come up with some of our white papers as part of the Digital Chamber of Commerce effort here in another month or 6 weeks or so.
Harvey, do you think this is going to end up at a point where the anonymity feature of a lot of these cryptocurrencies, at least maybe at core, it doesn't get voided out, but is the government going to want to know the nature of these transactions and be able to follow the money, perhaps even globally, when all is said and done here?
Well, in theory, it's a distributed ledger, and so you can go back and identify where things have gone, who's bought and sold to whom, at least if you do some work on it. So that part, these things should be like Bitcoin. It's basically a peer-to-peer payment system, and so therefore there's some utility in that. Unfortunately, there's been speculation around the value of it, and that has created a lot of the other aspects of it that are very concerning.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.